Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alex. I'm a Panamanian expat living in France, and I'm here to share with you all of my experiences as someone new, brand new, in a new country. Just to give you a little bit of context, I've only been living in France for 2 months, so I'm quite a newbie. Also, I currently live in Paris. I've only ever lived in Paris. So all of these cultural shocks are coming from the perspective of someone who lives in Paris. As I mentioned, I am from Panama, so all of this as well is coming from kind of a Latin American perspective cultural shock. And previously, before I moved to France, I lived in Czech Republic for 2 years. So some of the kind of things that shock me are also gonna come from a Czech perspective, if you will. Okay, so without further ado, here are the most shocking things I've experienced since moving to France. So number one is people are very direct here. Like, people tell you like it is. And that's amazing on one side, or basically completely amazing. You can only improve, and people just do it out of, like, definitely not out of a bad place. They're really telling you their opinion, and it's mostly constructive criticism all the time. Like, it doesn't come as something bad. However, if you're from a culture like mine, if you're from Latin America, for example, we don't do that. You know, if you ask me, for example, if I baked a cake and I took it to a party and the cake is really bad, like it sucks, nobody's going to tell you that cake sucked. Like, people won't say, wow, it's amazing, but they'll be like, yeah, it's good. This cake is okay. Yeah, it's okay. For me now, it's kind of normal, and I know that if I ask a question, I'm going to get an honest answer. Number two, for me, is just, and this is coming from a complete Czech perspective, people don't respect zebra crossings here. Like, I don't think people are aware that the red guy in the sign is supposed to be there to tell you not to cross the street. Like, it's a complete suggestion. Like, if there's no cars anywhere, people will cross the street. Like, it doesn't matter. I've seen people crossing the street in front of a policeman and they're totally okay with it. Like, it couldn't be more normal. And I mean, in Panama, definitely people will cross the street if the thing is red. Like, it doesn't matter. So from that point of view, like, that wouldn't be culturally shocking to me. But having lived 2 years in the Czech Republic, where people definitely respect the crossings in the street and are very much more like kind of following the rules, I was shocked. You know, like, when I just got here, I kept waiting for the light to go green for me to cross the street, and I did this, and then like one day this older gentleman very nicely told me, like, oh, mademoiselle, like, you know, you can cross the street, like, there's no cars, look out, like, let's cross. And I was, at that point, I stopped fighting it. You know, now I'm one of those people, like, if I don't see any cars coming, I'll cross that street. I know that's not the best thing to admit publicly, but I do now. So yeah, if you're here and you're from one of those countries that are more respectful of the rules, like maybe Austria, where people definitely follow the rules, Czech Republic, Germany, some Scandinavian countries, yeah, that red light, complete suggestion. Complete suggestion. Here, you have to say hi to every single person in a room when you arrive. So again, like, I know I'm mentioning this because I know this is shocking for a lot of people. For me, coming from Panama, we do the exact same thing. So like, when you get to a party or to a restaurant, wherever you go, you have to say hi to every single person in the room individually. You have to, we don't do la bise, like two sides, but we do la bise, Latin American style, in the right cheek, just one side. And you definitely, it's super rude if you don't go into a place and say hi to everyone. And I know that's kind of a surprise compared to many cultures where, like, if you go to a room and you just go like, hey guys, that's more than enough. That would be considered very rude here. As well as when you're leaving, same thing. You say bye to every single person before you leave. That whole like, bye guys, is not gonna cut it. It's very rude. And from Panama, being from Panama as well, that is not shocking at all. We do the exact same thing. You say bye to every single person before you leave. What was a little bit surprising, far from shocking, just a little bit more surprising, is that men also do la bise between them. Maybe it's kind of a Latin American thing. Men don't do that, so women will do la bise with women, obviously, and with men, but men won't do that to other men. Like, if they know them, they'll go like, hey, bye, or very formally, maybe like the shake of the hand. But yeah, but that's the only difference. Otherwise, la bise, very normal, but I know that it can be quite shocking for somebody coming from the States, for example, where a simple hello will be enough, or a handshake will be enough. So the fourth thing that is super shocking to me is how open teenagers are here when smoking. So, I mean, in every country in the world, I think, teenagers will be teenagers and they will smoke. But I think in most countries, teenagers will, they have the decency to go hide somewhere or something, or not do it as publicly. But here, like, there's a school right when you leave my street, you go to the right and there's a lycée, and there's all of this like small children, like 14, 15 years old, smoking right in front of the school. And sometimes like you can see adults walking out of the school and they're completely fine with it. Like, to me, that's a complete shock. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that in Panama we don't do it. Like, for sure, kids will be smoking in Panama, but they will be hiding underneath a car. They will do it in secret. Yeah, definitely not in front of the school. Like, if you smoke in front of your school, you're gonna get suspended. But not here at all. Like, super normal, or at least in my limited experience from what I've seen, super normal. So I don't know, you guys tell me, like, in your countries, is it normal for teenagers to smoke in public, or do they have to hide? Let me know. So moving on to vacations. So I don't think this is shocking to anybody who is from Europe, because I think it's quite generalized throughout Europe. But for people who come from maybe like the American continent, and I really don't know, maybe Asia or Australia, like somewhere else that's not Europe, it's quite shocking that in July and August, during the European summer, people will be out for vacation. And this is shocking in a very good way. Like, please, like, I'm all for it. I think it's awesome that people get a designated, like, you have the right, a designated amount of time to take like 2 or 3 weeks of vacation. But that's definitely not the norm in many places in the world. And I remember when I used to live in Panama, I used to work for this insurance firm, and the firm is located, it's a worldwide firm. So we had a different, different like offices here in Europe, for example, or we had a lot of accounts that we managed that were from Europe. So we usually had to communicate with people here. And for me, it was always like super confusing. Like, when I was trying to get in contact with somebody in July or August, and I was like, but why? Like, why don't they answer, Usually, like, you would get an email like in a day, and then here, 2 weeks, and I heard nothing. Radio silence. But it's because people are on vacation. And I think that's awesome. Like, I think it's great that people get that opportunity. But yeah, so if you're coming to France or Spain or any place in Europe, anytime between like July and August, I would recommend that you make sure that the places that you want to go, if you want to go to a specific like boutique or a specific restaurant, just to make sure that it's open, because odds are that the owners of the shop or whatever it is, they're going to be out for vacation. Okay, so now we're going to talk about an amazing topic, and that is food. And the sixth thing that is really shocking to me, which is dinner time. And that is shocking because dinner here is usually quite late, so people will be having dinner kind of like at 8 p.m., even 9 p.m. is kind of normal. And for me personally, that is not normal at all. Like, when I used to live in Panama, we had dinner maybe at 7 p.m. That would be a very normal time to have dinner in your house, maybe even earlier, depending on your family. but that was kind of like your average time. And then moving to Czech Republic, dinner is definitely super early. Like it's 6:30 p.m. you could be having dinner. So, you know, moving from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. normal dinner time, even 9, is quite a shock to me because I was not used to that at all, and my belly has had to kind of get used to that slowly, but it's getting there. Like I can get used to it, that's fine. And another thing, talking about dinner or just generally like meals, is how the meals are structured here in France. And it's shocking, but also in a really, really good way. You don't only get served like a plate of food before, like just one plate where you have all of your stuff and then you just eat it and maybe you'll have a dessert and you're done. No, here there's kind of like an order, a structure to your meal. So you're gonna have an apéro, an entree, then the main course, then some cheese, and then dessert. And that just ensures that you kind of take a while to eat and you're able to talk. I mean, I just love it, but it really does take longer. Moving on in the food train, let's talk about groceries. So groceries here are super different from what I'm used to. So they're different in 2 ways mainly, and that is how often people go shopping for groceries, and number 2, how much food they will buy or for how long in advance they will purchase food for. So here it's very usual that people go shopping every day, every couple days. They will go to specialized shops and get their food for maybe that day that they're cooking or maybe for a couple days afterwards. But they definitely won't be going shopping, you know, for food that you're gonna have in your fridge for like 2 weeks. Maybe if you're from Panama or from the States, there are so many stores like a Price Mart or Costco where you can buy food in bulk. Well, that's just not the case here. There's definitely bigger supermarket chains, but what people really prefer to do is really, like, you know, go to a store that specializes in what you're going to buy. It ensures that you're getting a quality product, it ensures that it is fresh, and people really do appreciate the quality of their ingredients in a way that I don't think we really do in Panama, or at least I didn't do before. Me, Alexandra, I don't really, I try not to go to the store every day and get food every day from specialized shops just because I'm trying to be budget friendly. And if you guys want to hear a little bit more about that, I have an entire video about how to save money in Paris, which includes tips on that. So if you're interested, go ahead and click below in the description where I'll have the link. But yeah, I try to buy food for like a week in advance, definitely not 2 weeks, but for a week in advance, so I really don't have to go to the grocery shop and get too excited and buy things that I don't need. But yeah, that's something that is super different and was quite shocking when I first moved here. So the last thing I will mention is actually food to go. So here in France, and frankly, again, and I think generally speaking, at least in Czech Republic, I won't say the entire Europe because I'm not really sure, but at least here in France especially, and also in Czech Republic, it's super not normal to get food to go. So, I mean, I think in the American continent in general, it's super normal that if you want to have, for example, a coffee to go, you just go into the store and you get it to go, no problem. If you want something to eat, like unless it's like a really fancy restaurant, but if it's like a normal restaurant, you can go into that restaurant, say, can you please prepare the meal, and you know, just bag it and I'll take it home, completely normal. Well, that's not gonna happen here. No, 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 no. And you're gonna get some really horrible looks for asking, by the way, so don't. Yeah, here there's definitely not that like takeaway culture. That's not something that is normal. Even coffee, like unless you go to Starbucks, that's not something that you will find everywhere. Maybe now, because of COVID, things are a little bit different, but otherwise, yeah, definitely not. Like, I know, for example, like in Panama, like if you're eating in a nice restaurant even, like you're sitting down and you finish your meal, the waiter will notice that you haven't finished all your food, and they will be the ones to ask you if you want to take the food to go. Here, they're super good with the portion sizes, so I think there really isn't a need for you to take away. So maybe that's why. But yeah, definitely not a culture where it's acceptable or normal to have food to go. So guys, I'm done with my list of cultural shocks. I hope these have been useful to you. If you've ever been here, like, please let me know if you've experienced the same things that I've mentioned, or if I didn't mention something, please let me know what other cultural shocks you have experienced while being in France. As well, I just want to say that cultural shock is very real everywhere. Like, I'm super sure that when my French friends or my boyfriend, who's also French and has never been to Panama, goes, he's also going to be super shocked by how different things are there. So yeah, I hope it was entertaining, and I'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.